Hey, good morning, guys. Eli here. It is Friday, April 7th at about 8:15 a.m. Pacific. So the market has been open for about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. And so far, I believe we are down about 3 points, maybe four. And I'm looking to put on a new trade this morning. So, I got my coffee here and figured, why not make a video for you guys on what it looks like to open a trade here and kind of walk you through what we look for. So first thing I always do is looking at our current portfolio is we only made about one trade this week. We definitely need to put a new one on. We want to stay active. We want to have a lot of small positions. As you guys know, that's kind of our style. We like to have a lot of small positions that we're constantly raking in profits from one and opening another one, and it kind of balances out our portfolio, and a large number of occurrences is how we make money over time. So want to be a little bit more involved in the market right now. I think we have about 8 or 9 positions, and maybe we want to have on like close to like 15. So IV right now in SPX, 3-month IVR at about 87, and IV rank right now 19. Not great, but let's get some positions on. So first thing I look at, this watch list right here. And you guys can download this at skyviewtrading.com/learn-thinkorswim, and this is our ETF watch list of really liquid ETFs. So as I go down the line, you can see here that I have IV rank percent or IV percent over here on the right, and this just shows me, and I sort by that, and it just shows me like which of these ETFs have the highest IV rank. So FXE, that's why we put on a position the other day, because it was at the top of our list. EFA, we actually tried to get filled in a butterfly, I think it was, and actually looking pretty decent for a trade. Maybe I'll check that one out. Excellent. IWM, we have a position. TLT, we actually have a position, but we're basically selling covered calls against our stock. TLT is one that you always want to have a position in because it's really, really liquid. So I'm actually going to check out a position in TLT. I don't really know what I will do yet, though. It actually looks like it's staying pretty stagnant. Maybe I'll check out an iron Condor. Alright, May options. You can see it says position up here. That's our call, our short call. Alright. So I guess the first thing that I always do is I kind of go down and make sure you always have probability of being in the money. Prob ITM. That's going to show you the percentage of it being in the money at expiration. And that's kind of where I gauge like my strikes. So let's see. The 124, 125, or 125, 126, 24, 19 prob in the money. About the 20 delta. And then let's see, somewhere in there we'll check it out. And then on the put side we could start with maybe like 116. So what I do is I'll just say, all right, if I want to start with 127 and 116, based on like I usually use a guideline for like 16% probability of being in the money. Some people use like the 30 delta, like Christos really likes using the 30 delta. So we'll see, like, it really all depends on the pricing for me. So let me try and do this first. So I'll try and do the 127 116 sell iron Condor. So I'll do 127, make it a 5 point, so 132, 5 point wide. That's where I always start. And then 118, or what did I say, 116? 116, and go lower than 116 by the 111. 65 cents. So I'm not crazy about that. So we have a lot of wiggle room here. Let me just show you. So you can see the wiggle room here. If I adjust this up here to the 519 expiration, this gray area is right off the bat is a 68% probability of success. So 76%, we can get a little bit more conservative on that. So I'm just going to adjust these strikes a little bit and see what pricing I can come up with, because the pricing to me is really all that matters. Collecting a good price for the risk that I'm taking. So let's try the 125 call. And then we'll buy the 130. And then let's see. Maybe the 118 put. And then we'll buy the 113. All right, cool. So that actually gives us a credit of about 120. So that's a good looking trade right there. 63% probability of success. Like I said, like that, anywhere between 50% to 70%, as long as I'm collecting a good credit. That's really what I look for. So with this trade, our max loss is 380 and our max profit is 120. I think this looks like a pretty good trade. It almost covers the one standard deviation move. And with TLT staying a bit sideways, this would be a pretty good addition to our portfolio. So bottom line is we want to have more positions on. So, what I'll do then is take 116.79. Just to give you guys a visual of what this looks like on the chart. 116.79. And then do 126.20. So this is what it looks like. We basically want, too far. We basically want TLT to stay in between these lines. This looks like a pretty good trade, so I'm going to send away here. That's not our trade. This is our trade. Looks like about 121. We'll see if we can get filled at 121. So we'll confirm and send. Hit send. Not filling right away. So you can go down here, and like sometimes you have to walk down the price. So we'll just do cancel replace, and we'll look that, okay, so it's sitting right at the mid. So let's try and go down to 120 and see if we get filled. sometimes you kind of have to walk the position down a little bit if you want to get filled immediately. We could always leave it in there, and just kind of leave it throughout the day and see if we get filled. But I like to, around that type of credit, I like to get filled pretty quick. Still at 121. Let's try and get 119, and then if it doesn't get 119, we'll leave it in for a little bit. This is about halfway between the nat and the mid, so we should get filled here. Yep, got filled immediately. So you guys can hear all those alerts. Highly recommend, if you're using Thinkorswim, to set up some alerts on your phone, so that it will email you or use the app to send you an alert when you get filled on positions. That way, if you set like a good till canceled order and you're out at the grocery store or whatever, then when one of your trade gets filled. So that's kind of what I do. And then you can see in the monitor tab, and don't worry guys, I'm actually having Adam alert this out to you guys right now, so you should be getting it pretty quickly here. So you can see in the monitor tab that we have one order, one fill today. You can see all the details of it, Iron Condor, the credit, and then down here you can see TLT. We have a couple positions. We have stock, we have a single short call, and then we have our Iron Condor. And one thing that really always confused me back when I first started trading was, how do I know what my profit or loss is on the trade without going to the Analyze tab or using anything else? Right here, if you click on the Iron Condor, you can see that the trade price is 119, which that was the trade price that we sold it for, and then the mark is at it's 122 right now, so we should be down $3 on the trade. So if you look over here, we're down $3. So that's just because this is where the Iron Condor was sitting when we tried to get in, but we couldn't get filled for 122 or 121 or 120, so we got filled at 119. That's fine. It's 3 cents. Sometimes when you're closing a trade, it makes more of a difference. And that's not to say like if you can't get filled at 119, walk it all the way down to $1, because I'm comfortable. What I was comfortable giving up here was just a couple pennies. I maybe even would have taken 115 on the trade, but anything lower than that, I probably would have just had a GTC order in for like around 119, 118, somewhere in there. So I was comfortable with this price. This is a good price for a good trade. And the probability of success doesn't really matter as long as it's above 60. Our edge in the market is implied volatility overstates actual volatility. And we've done studies on this that when we're actually putting on trades like this, we actually have instead of a 63% probability of success, we actually probably have more like a 75. So like I said, anything really over 60 doesn't bug me. Like when you're new, some people maybe would have passed on this trade because it's not 70% probability of success. I say definitely don't pass on trades like this because of this credit that you received for anything over 60% probability of success. You don't want to complicate this. It's not complicated. Like I said this morning, I just wanted a new position on for our portfolio, and TLT is really liquid, so we always want to have a position on in TLT. We've been camping on this stock for months, and just selling calls against it, lowering our break even or our cost basis. So we figured that maybe we should have another spread on in TLT anyway. So like I said, it's not complicated. You just saw me pick a trade. I encourage you guys to, do the same. Maybe go in EFA and place a trade in a paper account. Because like I said, EFA was looking pretty good. And, maybe you could, you could place a trade around this. That's it, guys. Just, let me know if you need anything else. We don't try and complicate this. We just want many positions on. So, thanks. Have a good Friday. Happy weekend.